Good evening from the State of Kuwait. Welcome to the 7 o'clock news for Thursday, the 15th of January 2015. I am Dalia Badran with the headlines for tonight. The National Assembly recommends that the government's decision to lift the subsidies from the prices of diesel and kerosene be withdrawn. His Highness the Prime Minister receives a host of members of the National Union of Kuwaiti Students U.S. branch. The First Deputy Premier and Foreign Minister chairs Kuwait's delegation to a number of meetings of the Arab League's Council. President Francois Hollande vows that France will protect all religions, adding that Muslims are the main victims of terrorism. Hello and welcome. The National Assembly recommended in its session today that the government's decision to lift the subsidies from the prices of diesel and kerosene be withdrawn. The issue of the subsidies of diesel and kerosene was discussed by the MPs for 2 hours today, ending in a set of recommendations that the decision for lifting the subsidies be revoked, prices of commodities be monitored by the Ministry of Commerce and by the Union of Cooperatives. More details in the following report by Hiba Abdurrahman.
The National Assembly in its supplementary session today recommended a number of decisions. Firstly, to hold the decision to lift subsidies on diesel and kerosene until a comprehensive study by the government on this matter can be seen, where the pros and cons of this decision and its impact on citizens. The recommendation, which was stipulated by the board, came after the Council allocated today 2 hours to discuss the removal of subsidies on diesel and kerosene, to clarify the government's policy and procedures in that issue, to explain the study and how to deal with the necessary goods to the citizen so as not to adversely affect the daily lives of the citizens. The board also recommended that the second recommendation to monitor commodity prices and activating the role of the Consumer Protection Department in the Ministry of Commerce to inflict penalties on all parties offense as stipulated the third recommendation on the enforcement of laws against all companies in violation of the resolutions of non-price increases, as well as the application of sanctions determined by these laws against these companies. The fourth recommendation called to activate the role of the Union of Cooperative Societies to monitor the prices of goods and accounting cooperative societies which do not adhere to the decisions of the Federation of Societies not to raise the prices of goods in the wrong way, which occurred during the previous days. The fifth recommendation demanded that the government provide an appropriate legislation to stop the corporate greed that rises prices of goods without any justification, for it calling upon the sixth recommendation to stop any decisions under examination by the government regarding the cancellation of subsidies for goods and services necessary for the citizen until the completion of the necessary studies to make sure that no decision does affect the financial matters of the citizen or the daily life routine. From the National Assembly, I am Hiba Abdurrahman reporting for English News.
His Highness Sheikh Jabir Mbarak Al Hamad Al Sabah, the Prime Minister, received today at Sif Palace MP Rakan Al Nasf and a host of members of the National Union of Kuwaiti Students U.S. branch. During the meeting, His Highness the Prime Minister stressed the government's keenness on supporting and caring for the Kuwaiti students abroad so as to help them accomplish their dreams and best serve their homeland. His Highness Sheikh Jabir al-Mbarak then expressed great confidence in the Kuwaiti youth who represent the state's true wealth, wishing them success in obtaining knowledge and sciences. On their part, the students presented His Highness the Prime Minister with a commemorative shield on this occasion. The meeting was attended by the Assistant Undersecretary of His Highness the Prime Minister's Diwan, Sheikh Nasser Ahmad Al Sabah Al Salim Al Sabah. The First Deputy Premier and Foreign Minister Sheikh Sabah Al Khalid Al Hamad Al Sabah chairs the State of Kuwait's delegation to an extraordinary meeting of the Arab League's Council at the ministerial level held in Cairo. Within the framework of the Arab League Council's meeting, Sheikh Sabah Al Khalid also presided over a gathering of the Arab Peace Initiative Committee at the ministerial level. The gathering that addressed the latest developments of the Palestinian cause was attended by the chairman of the Palestinian Authority, Mahmoud Abbas. Moreover, the First Deputy Premier and Foreign Minister chaired a coordination meeting with the Egyptian Foreign Minister Sameh Shukri, his Jordanian counterpart Nasser Jouda, and the Arab League Secretary General Dr. Nabil Al-Arabi, during which they discussed the topics listed in the agenda of the Arab Peace Initiative Committee. The Senior Endowers Forum, organized by the Ministry of Awqaf and Islamic Affairs, kicked off yesterday. Minister of Justice and Minister of Awqaf and Islamic Affairs Yaqub Al-Sani attended the forum's opening session held at the Radisson Blu Hotel. Here is more on the event in this report by Salim Al-Kandari.
His Highness the Crown Prince Sheikh Nawaf Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Sabah sponsored the Seniors Endowers Forum organized by the Ministry of Awqaf and Islamic Affairs. His Highness the Crown Prince delegated Minister of Justice and Minister of Awqaf and Islamic Affairs Yaqub Al-Sani to attend the forum's opening session held at the Radisson Blu Hotel.
This blessed morning, actually, we inshallah will be honoring 26 of the endowers, those who make endowment in the past of Kuwait or in the present now. Actually, they deserve this honoring because they actually give a lot of their lives and their belongings to endowment, and they actually donate a good money of their wealth for the sake of the charity and helping the poor and helping the will and the goodness. So inshallah, under the patronage and of the Crown Prince Sheikh Nawaf Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Sabah and the presence of His Excellency the Minister of Justice and Awqaf, inshallah we will honor these 26 people, inshallah.
This honor comes in appreciation of those 26 senior endowers who insisted on aiding the ones in need inside Kuwait and outside. This is the first endowment forum held by the Justice and Awqaf Ministry in honoring of the senior endowers who gave their time and charities for the good cause. From Al-Hashimi Hall, this is Salim Kandiri reporting for the English News.
Thank you, Salim. U.S. President Barack Obama and British Prime Minister David Cameron vowed a united front against the threat posed by extremists and their ideologies. In a joint opinion article that appeared in today's Times of London newspaper, Obama and Cameron outlined the principles of the U.S.-British alliance ahead of 2 days of White House meetings. The two leaders are due to meet later today and hold more talks on Friday. Obama and Cameron were also firm in their resolve to stand up against Russia's aggression in Ukraine. They pledged to maintain diplomatic pressure on Moscow. The United States and Europe have imposed a variety of sanctions against Russia in retaliation. French President François Hollande today vowed that his country will protect all religions, saying that Muslims are the main victims of fanatism. Speaking at the Arab World Institute, he said Islam was compatible with democracy and thanked Arabs for their solidarity over terrorism in Paris. Attacks on Charlie Hebdo magazine, a supermarket, and a policewoman killed 17 people last week. Hollande said the French were united in the face of terror, adding that French Muslims have the same rights as all other French. Earlier, police said a car ran into a policewoman guarding the French presidential palace, slightly injuring her. It is not clear if this attack is related to previous attacks in Paris. Turkish Prime Minister Ahmed Davutoglu today equated Israeli counterpart Benjamin Netanyahu to the militants who carried out attacks last week in Paris, saying both had committed crimes against humanity. Davutoglu told a news conference that Israel's bombardment of Gaza and its storming in 2010 of a Turkish-led aid convoy to the Gaza Strip were on a par with the Paris attacks. He said Netanyahu, as the head of the government that kills children, committed crimes against humanity just as the massacre in Paris committed by terrorists. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry voiced his country's support for Russia's attempt to convene peace talks in Moscow between representatives of the Syrian government and the opposition. Kerry made the remarks despite some leading opposition figures saying they do not plan to attend the meeting. Kerry also praised Stefan de Mistura, the United Nations envoy for the crisis in Syria, attempt to broker local ceasefires in Syria, starting with the city of Aleppo, saying he hoped it could have an effect. Meanwhile, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said Moscow hopes for a fair, level, and appropriate composition of delegations of the forthcoming Inter-Syrian Conference. Moscow will host a summit from January 26th to the 29th, hoping to win an agreement among different Syrian factions. The United Nations envoy for Libya said talks in Geneva between rival Libyan factions aim to reach agreement to form a unity government as he tried to launch talks which only one side to the conflict has formally endorsed. The European Union has called the negotiations a last chance to resolve the crisis in Libya. UN Special Representative for Libya proposed an agreement for a new unity government to start solving political differences. He also called for an end to the fighting as the country is falling deeply into chaos. The talks are supposed to bring together delegates from the self-declared government, which took over the capital Tripoli last year, as well as the internationally recognized government of Prime Minister Abdullah al-Thani and the armed forces allied to the rival administrations. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry said today he may meet Iran's foreign minister again this week to discuss Tehran's nuclear program following their roughly 6 hours of talks on Wednesday. Iran and 6 world powers have renewed their quest for an elusive nuclear deal after negotiators failed for the second time in November to meet a self-imposed deadline. The major powers hope to persuade Iran to curb its nuclear program in exchange for a gradual easing of economic sanctions. Kerry told reporters that he and Zarif would both be in the French capital on Friday, but it is not yet decided whether they will meet or not. Russia called for a fair and independent investigation into a bus attack in eastern Ukraine in which at least 12 people were killed. Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov also said Moscow was concerned about recent violations in the ceasefire agreement it signed with Ukraine, which jeopardized hopes for a permanent peace deal. Meanwhile, Ukraine's parliament voted today to refresh its frontline forces and resume partial conscription after a top security official warned that Russian forces backing separatist rebels had sharply increased military activity in the east. The secretary of the National Defense Council told Parliament that Russian aggression is continuing in the region, adding that 8,500 Russian regular forces were now deployed in eastern Ukraine. At the end of this week's trading at Kuwait Stock Exchange, with the main indices closing with mixed boards, KSX 15 recorded 1,077.57 points, losing 2.08 points, and the weighted index closed at 444.32 points with a slight loss of 0.46 points. However, the price index ended trading at nearly 6,598 points, earning 10.96 points. As many as 287.5 million shares worth of total 28.4 million KD were exchanged in 7,074 transactions. The Britain in Kuwait 2015 exhibition was officially inaugurated today in the presence of His Excellency Matthew Lodge, the British ambassador to Kuwait, and key dignitaries and special guests at the Salwa Sabah Al Ahmad Al Sabah Ballroom. The exhibition is expected to conclude on the 17th of this month and will feature a number of participating British companies. Reporter Ghanwa Jabouri attended the exhibition and will bring us up to date with the details.
Britain in Kuwait exhibition, officially inaugurated by His Highness Sheikh Nasser Muhammad Al Ahmad Al Sabah at the Salwa Sabah Al Ahmad Ballroom, witnessed a grand celebration, including a musical band perform traditional Kuwaiti music, while the talented and creative BSK students performed the Kuwaiti national anthem in a remarkable and special style.
Well, it's been a great honour and privilege for us to have His Highness Sheikh Nasser attend and open the 9th Britain in Kuwait trade exhibition today. It's been running over 17 years. I think this year's is probably the best that we've had yet. We've got representation from well-known British brands, local companies doing business in Kuwait, those helping trade and commercial links between our two countries. And there's a real atmosphere and a buzz here. It's wonderful to see so many people here. The exhibition will be on over the weekend, so I encourage as many of you as possible to come and see it. And I'm really encouraged that there's so much energy and enthusiasm about what we can do together on the business side. So,
well, it's a fantastic opportunity to get to show the Kuwaiti public, indeed everyone living in Kuwait, not only Kuwaitis but also British expats, a bit more of a glimpse of home and of what the UK can offer. We're lucky enough to be here representing the British Embassy, but there are lots of other organisations, companies here who have got an equally nice story to tell.
Zain and Zayani are participating as platinum sponsors, and a host of other companies are taking part, including NBK, British Petroleum, British Airways, Al Ghanim Travel and the British Council, to name just a few.
We are very proud of our students. They perform each big occasion like this. This is the 17th year that they are running this, and we have been here from the very beginning, and we are so happy. I have just received an award as well, and I have my bouncer back there keeping an eye on my medal, my special medal. I'm so proud to be here, and I'm so proud of Kuwait for holding this exhibition.
A number of exciting activities will take place during the event, with some companies promoting numerous first-to-market promotions. Under the patronage and in the presence of His Highness Sheikh Nasser Al Muhammad Al Ahmad Al Sabah, the Britain in Kuwait Week has been officially inaugurated from the Salwa Ballroom, Marina Crescent. I'm Ghanwa Jabouri reporting to you for the English News.
For a chance to see our reports again, please visit our YouTube channel at MOI Kuwait News. And before we end, here is a quick reminder of today's headlines. The National Assembly recommends that the government's decision to lift subsidies from the prices of diesel and kerosene be withdrawn. His Highness the Prime Minister receives a host of members of the National Union of Kuwaiti Students U.S. branch. The First Deputy Premier and Foreign Minister chairs Kuwait's delegation to a number of meetings of the Arab League Council. President Francois Hollande vows that France will protect all religions, adding that Muslims are the main victims of terrorism.